Hi guys, my name is Dave and I'm from Back to Basic Christian Living, and this is our Q&A sessions. This is where we answer one question with one simple answer. And over the last few weeks we've dealt with what is faith, we've dealt with how to get born again, we've dealt with how do you know you're born again, we've dealt with the fruits of the Spirit, the characteristics you're supposed to manifest as a son of God with that Spirit inside of you. And last time we were together, we dealt with 5 gift ministries. And today, as promised a few Q&A sessions ago, we're going to deal with how to speak in tongues. Now, at this stage, I'm assuming that you're born again, you received Holy Spirit. How did you get born again? You confessed Romans 10:9 and 10. You understood about Jesus Christ and what he achieved in his earthly ministry, how he was born, how he was crucified, how he was resurrected. You understand on the day of Pentecost, at the beginning of the book of Acts, that the church started and the outpouring of the Holy Spirit was first received and experienced amongst the apostles on the day of Pentecost, as promised way back in the Old Testament. And that still continues today in the church that you and I are a part of, that you become part of when you receive that Holy Spirit. And it's just an amazing experience to be able to feel, and not feel, but experience a supernatural event that happens within you because you received that supernatural ability, which is the Holy Spirit. There are 9 abilities of the Holy Spirit. Speaking in tongues is the foundation of those 9 abilities, and it proves that you're born again. You can have the characteristics and manifest the characteristics of the Spirit, which we've dealt with before, of which there is 9, but they unfortunately can be faked. And it doesn't prove that you're a Christian, but there's supernatural ability within you. You experience that when you speak in tongues is amazing. It's exciting. When I first got born again, I was led into speaking tongues as soon as I received the Holy Spirit. And it was just an amazing experience for me because I wanted to see the Bible live. And I wanted to see something said in the Bible to be true. You have to move your mouth, your lips, and you have to do the mechanics of speaking. The actual words, the tongue itself comes from the Spirit within, comes from God via Jesus Christ through the Holy Spirit. And it's a supernatural event which you control by your own free will, but it's something that you can't refute, you can't ignore, you can't dismiss, you can't say it doesn't exist anymore. And a lot of people say speaking in tongues died out with the apostles. That's nonsense. It can't have done. God gave you the comforter, gave you the helper of the Holy Spirit to help you walk as a man or woman of God in this day and time. And speaking in tongues is the foundation of those 9 abilities. And it's imperative that you continue to speak in tongues and develop your tongue as you progress along the journey adventure of your Christian walk. Now, what isn't speaking in tongues is it's not the same word over and over again. It's not a language that you know. It is an unknown language either to you or to people around you. It's either language of men or women that live in this world today, or it's an unknown language. So you must understand that it's nothing that you will understand as you do it, but it'll be your tongue, it'll be the tongue that God has given you, and abides within your spirit as you speak forward. But you have to do the mechanics, but the actual speaking of the tongue comes from that spirit within. So you must understand that. But also, you must understand you have to develop the tongue like a language. It's not the same phrases repeated over and over again like a mantra. You have to develop the tongue like it is a language, even though you don't understand it. And you will phrase that speaking in tongues just like you phrase your own language that you know. So I will speak in tongues for you in a little bit, and you'll see how I phrase my tongue is the same way I phrase my English language, even though it's quite poor at times. That's how I phrase my tongue, that God gave me, and that's the same way you will do it. And don't forget, it's not a sound, it's not a word repeated, it's not a phrase repeated. It's up to you, once you have received Holy Spirit and can speak in tongues, to develop that tongue. And as you will hear when I speak in tongues for you, it sounds like a fully developed language. Even though I don't understand it, God understands it. And it's there for our benefit, to give you more understanding. The description below in this video, I've included what is speaking in tongues, the significance of speaking in tongues, how to experience speaking in tongues, and how to lead someone into speaking in tongues. And I will do a teaching blog which will emphasize that in more detail coming up in the future on Back to Basic Christian Living. So grab somebody, as I said, under the tree times together, who can speak in tongues, who are experienced in speaking in tongues, who've heard speaking in tongues, who've developed their tongue to such an extent that they're experienced in having that in their own private prayer life. Grab them, get them to lead you into speaking in tongues, and you'd be amazed how exciting, how fantastic it is, and how normal it is for a supernatural, born again, spirit endowed Christian in this day and time to live like that and do that in their own private prayer life, and also do it in a church situation. And if you read Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, that teaches you how to operate that in a church environment. So I will speak in tongues for you now. So if this is your first time of experiencing it, you can do it. If you're born again, have Holy Spirit inside you. So as I said before, I'm taking a bit of a liberty that you know how to do that already. If you don't, then start there and then develop and progress into the spiritual supernatural ability of manifesting those 9 abilities, of which speaking tongues is the foundation. So here we go. And it's very simple. It's very easy. I control it. I'm in charge of it. So here we go. So this is speaking in tongues. See, I stop. I start. I start and I stop. I control it. But see, it's not my language, and I phrase it very similar to how I talk. So I would encourage you to get somebody to help you speak in tongues. The description below gives you an idea of all about speaking in tongues, and how to lead somebody into speaking in tongues, how to lead yourself into speaking in tongues. And I would encourage you to do it because it's exciting. It proves you're born again. It proves you have Holy Spirit. It proves you're saved. And it gives you the ability to act supernaturally within the body in the church today. So there we go. That's how to speak in tongues. You've seen it. You've heard it. You can do it. You've been given the ability to do it with the package of the Holy Spirit when you got saved and born again. And enjoy developing that tongue in the future. Enjoy having it sound like a proper, fully blown language, not just a noise or one word or a phrase that you repeat over and over again. That's not speaking in tongues. That's like a baby would say, mama, dada, mama, dada. You've got to develop it because God's given you the ability to develop it, and it helps you walk, grow, and do the things God called you to do in the church today. So God bless, guys. Don't forget, keep reading.